So I have a dilemma.
Mm.
So I've had experiences in the past where let me say it this way. What I know to be true from direct experience has been or is that none of this is real
Mm.
and that I there isn't there isn't this I, this person,
Mm.
that this doesn't exist either, but that what I, quote unquote, am able to experience is this vastness, this expansiveness, this pure, just, it's like being at the center of the universe. It's
Mm.
calm and knowing. And where I get confused is there is this life happening, and I don't always have a sense of that vastness. It's only
Mm.
happened a few times in my life, and I'm trying to figure out, like, uh, I'm going to use the word should carefully, but should I be aware of that expansiveness all the time, or more often, or more regularly, where the personal me disappears, or I, and there's a part of me that really, 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 really wants to experience more of that consciousness on a regular basis. So I'm just confused. How do I live in this body, having had those experiences? I know everything is that consciousness. I know that all the traumas and experiences and thoughts in my head are not, well, I know that those are all consciousness. I know that. But um, it's like just those fleeting moments where
Mm.
I've that vast awareness, that sense of that vast awareness. So,
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, is there something I should be doing to experience that?
Yeah. That's the like all-time question. Like, is what is it? So you've asked it slightly different. Like, instead of what can I do, like, is there something I should be doing? Which is kind of sweet because it's a different take on the question. Um,
Yeah.
so just give me a moment and let's see what comes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is this beautiful contradiction because right now that totally disappears.
Mm.
Like right now, there is nobody that should or shouldn't do anything, that has
Mm.
to get somewhere, that has to be free. Like in this moment, there is this presence. It's everywhere, it's everything. And then the mind jumps in, and seeking jumps in, and compares your life, the past, what you've had, where you're going, what you should be. And that's relevant, that's got its relevance. Like if you hadn't had that, you'd have maybe never got into this subject and explored and found this beauty of what is. So it's not that what can I do or what should I do or is there something I should be doing. It's this dedication to yourself as consciousness. But that's not like a personal activity. you can't make yourself dedicated to something. Just like you can't make yourself have willpower to like do yoga or something every morning. You can maybe do it for a period, but it's either there or not. It's like a calling that happens. For some, it's so strong, that burning light, that it keeps manifesting this subject, keeps creating this subject.
Um, I guess I have a question then.
Yeah.
Um, it, of course, I'm still speaking from the place of this confusion.
Mm.
Uh, and I, part of me understands what you're saying. It's still just the logical brain that's grasping what you're saying. Um, it's just uh, having that having that sense of awareness. Having that's not the right word. There are no right words for this, for that
Mm.
experience. Um, Even to call it an experience, I've realized comes from the perception of a separate self. I
Mm.
realized, um, but I guess I spend 99.99999% of my awareness in this separate, uh, in this separate sense of self.
Mm.
And I mean, I know it's, as you said, it's not necessarily about what should I do or what can I do or any activity that this separate sense of self can do. Yet, uh, there, there, identifying from this place on a regular basis, there is this sadness, this frustration that comes up. Why can't I be more aware of my
Mm.
awareness? Why can't I be more aware of consciousness? Why can't I
Mm.
be an expansive place? Why can't this sense of separate
Mm.
self dissolve
Mm.
and live more freely? It's
Yeah. And so from that perspective, I would say that like working, like if you feel like you would like to do something, because when the seeking's there, it feels like it wants to do something. So you've begun to fall in love with this subject. There's a burning for this subject, and then the separate person feels like it wants to do something to get to consciousness, which it can't do. It's an impossibility because consciousness is already here, but it's identified with the person, so it feels like you are separate. It feels like a lot of the time you are in time and you are a person moving through time. So therefore what you can do is you can do things seemingly on the personal level to relax the personal self. But that's not going to get you to it, because you will never get to it. But it's a bit like really dense clouds in the sky. It's like thinning out the clouds and then letting that consciousness shine through. So it's not exactly an activity of you. So, and there's lots of things that you can do to relax the personal self. Like one is putting the attention in this moment. So putting your attention into consciousness, even though you can't really put your attention into consciousness because that would still be a time-based activity. It's you can kind of do this activity where it's cutting off the story and it's bringing the person to be more present. So, and even though it seems like it's you doing it, it's actually happening. It's a mechanism. There is a teaching of that to you, and then it's a mechanism that arises again and again. Just like if I taught you how to drive a car, like eventually we know from driving, like when I drive, I'm like, it's the body driving. It's not Lisa driving. Like that one's really obvious. Like you teach your body to drive, And so you can teach yourself to do that again and again and again. And eventually it becomes uh, like ingrained in the unconscious, and it relaxes the time-bound thinking.
Mm.
But it's not actually your action. It's something that happens. Like, who is this I? Like, we think when we put personal volition into something that that is somebody with free will and choice, but that's actually a mechanism that is training the body to do something.
Mm.
But it's not actually you. So when I say you, I don't actually mean that you have free will.
Mm.
So you can, that's one thing that you can do. And then the next thing is like exploring the feelings in the body and the stories that you're telling yourself. So in this moment, like becoming more acutely aware of what's felt in the body
Mhm.
and what stories you're telling yourself, because often our mind is out of line with our feelings. So we're telling ourselves that we're enjoying something, and we're enjoying socializing, but actually if you really pay attention to the body, what might be happening is that you're seeking for love and attention, and when
Mhm.
you're getting that love and attention, then it's arising as enjoyment,
Mm.
but you might not notice that. So it's
Oh,
it's
oh.
just noticing it, and just paying attention to the body, and paying attention to, if the body's seeking or not seeking, and the body doesn't lie. Like when you really pay, like it does lie to an extent, because anger can be a secondary emotion. Um, so there can be a deeper feeling to anger, and so what you might feel is anger in the body, but it's like when you really go deeply into the body, it doesn't lie. Like when you
Mm.
really get to know the body, like you can have all these secondary emotions, but then you can feel underneath anger there is fear or these different things. And there's nothing wrong with any of the feelings in the body. Often we get the idea that we've got to get enlightened to get rid of these feelings in the body. They're just being human. That's what it is to be human, just like the feelings of a cat, to have emotions, or the feelings of a dog. It's what happens. We have feelings. But because we've got this intelligent mind and we've got this identity, we're often lying to ourselves about what we're actually feeling. And this exacerbates the seeking.
Mhm.
Like, so
Mhm.
the lying exacerbates. So if you're in a situation and you're just feeling the insecurity, so you're
Mhm.
with humans and you feel insecure, that's not seeking, that's not identity, that's just insecurity that's arising. And that's normal to be insecure around humans. Humans are the most deadliest animal on the planet. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't, you can also be secure, but it's just acknowledging that.
Mm.
What creates the identity is the denial of that insecurity. So most people are denying their insecurity. And then all the layers on top of that, like trying to be better than other people, trying to get attention, trying to get love, trying to get validation. Like that's where the identity exists.
Mm. I think I might understand what you're saying. Yeah, I
Nice.
think, yeah. So it's like a disidentification with the stories, the person who has the stories, the
Mm,
attachments, the interpretations of everything,
mm,
and just being with the sensations that are arising.
mm.
And the stories can be there too, but not believing the stories. Just
Yeah,
no.
totally. They're not you. And that you don't need to act anything out. So you don't need love and attention in order to be free. What's happening on a very subtle level is the mind is saying, I need love and attention to be free. But you don't really notice that. So then what happens in the social situation is maybe then attempting to be better than other people, attempting to know more than other people, attempting to, teach other people or whatever it might be. So it's just like being really conscious of what the body is doing, but then also knowing that that too isn't freedom. The actual freedom is that which is perceiving all of it. But by doing this activity, I would say you're reducing the suffering of the person, you're reducing the seeking of the person. And then it's like more fertile ground for awakening.
Mm.
That can also be contradicted. Life is really mysterious. So that is like a perspective that I'm saying, but I also can understand from another perspective you could contradict that. But when somebody feels like there's something that they want to do, then this is a good story to tell yourself and a good investigation. It will, even if we don't know what the results will be, but it will make your life easier for sure. Becoming more conscious. And the body doesn't lie when you really go into the body. And also, the sensations are in the body. The body actually disappears, but the sensations that are appearing are directly from God. Like that is present. So that insecurity is in presence. It's right here.
Yes.
The trying to be something else than the insecurity is more in time. It's more seeking patterns.
Wow. Beautiful. Yeah, that's great. I get it. I get it. Yeah, you disambiguated so many things that
Oh,
were,
nice.
yeah, knotted together. Um, and now it because of my own self-exploration, study, all kinds of things, everything you said makes sense to me.
Nice.
Yeah, I get it.
So in this moment, I have been helpful. Maybe 10
You have
minutes later, there might be an interpretation unhelpful. We don't know.
there we go. I'll look for the unhelpful interpretation too. But no, this is good. And this is kind of what I thought would be a helpful thing for me to do. But the way that you explained it, it it ironed out some of the kinks in my thinking, the things I was getting tripped over. So
Nice.
now yeah, now I can just I quote unquote
Yeah.
can yeah disassociate.
Relax more into it.
Yeah, that's right. Relax more into the sensations, thoughts, and feelings without identifying with them,
Mm. Mm.
and just let
Nice.
them, and eventually, yeah, creating that fertile ground for awakening to occur.
Mm. Yeah,
Excellent.
nice. Oh, thank you. Lovely to speak with you, Dancing Shiva. I like your name.
Thank you. My name's Rob, by the
Your name's
way.
what, sorry?
Robert.
Robert. Nice to meet you, Robert.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you for calling in. Lovely question. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice.